Good evening, everyone, and welcome to day 513. Our continuing coverage, updates, care, love, all of the above for Ukraine. Thank you for being here tonight, fully live, and we've got an incredible update. So please feel free. Shoot some questions in the chat, comment, talk. It is 9:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Live, 7/21/2023. Thank you. Continue to subscribe, like, comment, share, give, do all of those things. If you wonder why you should be giving, just go back and watch day 511 update, and you will see the difference that all of us together are making. I believe we actually saved the little boy's life and probably the life of his grandmother and mother. He lost his dog in New York, Ukraine, and it was good he wasn't there because he was at our camp that you guys help sponsor. So welcome as always and be blessed. Rick Berry, I see you out there tonight. We'll have a little interaction tonight. Janet Smith, I see you there. Welcome to you. Love and prayers. Skeghead, how is the Outback, buddy? How's Australia treating you? Pat Shove, bless you. Rainwater, what's going on, Seattle, Washington? Putin is in big trouble. Hey, nice icon there. He needs a reality check instead of what he is hearing from his yes men. Well, we're going to talk about that, and tonight you're going to hear Putin speak about that. Carl Elwell, Las Vegas. You got a nice, whatever that's, avatar there too, man. Awesome. Desade, Oklahoma, Slava Ukraina. Oh, Skeghead complaining of the cold in Australia. Of course, it is wintertime. Do you think Girkin causes a civil war? No, Girkin will not cause a civil war. In fact, we'll be talking about Girkin here in just a little bit. So thank you, guys. Let's jump right in. We'll start here right now. So you guys are well aware, even on Wednesday night, we were updating that it's nonstop attacks. Nonstop air attacks on Ukraine. Most people are looking at the port city of Odessa, which has been hit very hard. We'll be looking at that. I've got a little video out from today. But it's not just Odessa, folks. And, you know, it doesn't always hit the headlines or hit the news wherever you are at. Alan King, welcome from Northern Michigan. Jeffrey Burnett, in America, Girkin is just a type of pickle. You know, I almost made an image with Girkin as a pickle, but, you know, most folks don't even know who he is, but tonight I'm going to educate you on that. Chill Dude, Chicago. Awesome. Well, welcome to you. So it's nonstop. You may not be seeing it on your headlines, whatever your news of choice is. You guys know that I encourage you to read foreign news. If you're an American, a lot of folks in here, U.S. watching, read foreign news. But regardless, a little bit here, a little bit there. The reality is, take a look at the map. Over the last 24 hours, Chernihiv smashed, 2 killed, just pulled out from under the rubble. Chernihiv is at the very top of the map there, up on the Belarusian border. That does not necessarily need to be struck with missiles or even drones. Artillery can actually reach Chernihiv region and Chernihiv city. Over to the right, the explosion I have marked there to the right is Sumy. Sumy under constant attack, especially just north of Sumy up on the border. And I remind you guys, it was about 1 week ago that Ukraine was talking about forced evacuations in that area. Then they backed off of it and says, no, we're not a nation that does forced evacuations, but we will strongly recommend that you leave that area. It's coming. And they were prophetic and right. It is being pounded there, the northern side of Sumy. Kharkiv being hit nonstop. Once again, Kharkiv very close to the border. Then we come down into the Donetsk region with the explosion there in the middle. That's going to be, Bakhmut completely under battle. But we're talking specifically tonight in the Toretsk region. I'm going to show you that on the map in just a moment. But cities like Druzhba, New York, still under constant shelling and attack. swinging around to Zaporizhia, and then swinging down. Right now, I think Mykolaiv is under air raid. Mykolaiv, I can show you that right here. Mykolaiv is the only region that is right now. That's 4:06 a.m. in Ukraine, day 513. Wherever you're watching, you can see this is 100% live. Mykolaiv right now under the air raid. And then, of course, the big one everybody knows about is Odessa. Let's get into it a little bit deeper because there's more. I'm going to show you the map here, but I want you to take a peek at this. This is actually a village called Druzhba. Basically the same name in Ukrainian or Russian, and I will tell you what it means. It means friendship in English. I mean, friendship. That's the name. So if this town was named in English, it would be called Friendship, Ukraine. But the name of it there is Druzhba, which means friend, friendship. The word for friend is drug, and then you have Druzhba for friendship. 2 children killed today, and tonight, President Zelenskyy, one was 9, one was 16, and in his evening address, he did 2 things. He was talking about the children being killed in Druzhba. I also marked there for you New York. New York is under constant attack. So where are we talking about? Because it's really bad, to be quite honest, but it's here. You come down from the north, this is the Russian border, and this is that circle area, Slavyansk, Kramatorsk, around to Konstantinivka. Yes, this is Bakhmut. And since we're there, you can see Ukraine. The blue is the reclaimed territory, and they are not into Bakhmut city. Russia has actually pushed back on the road that goes to Ivanivsky here. But on the north and the south, you can see some pushing back. Ukraine is still holding the high ground. Up in the north, where I told you the offensive from Russia was taking place, I mean, just take a peek, guys. They've been hitting it pretty hard here. All the gold there being Russian forward positions and advancements in blue being Ukrainian. So coming down to Bakhmut, if you come down below that, we've got to get down to Toretsk. So right below Bakhmut, you come down to Toretsk. This is a regional city center. And right above that, to the right here, you see Druzhba. So you can see the gold push, which is the Russian advance. And then they're hitting very, very hard Druzhba here. Where is New York? New York is right below Toretsk. It's right here. This part right here is New York, Ukraine, right below Toretsk. These are the areas that are being hit. Let's do this. Odessa. Let's jump around over there. Let's come all the way over. Odessa, as you guys know, because it's the number one that makes the news, is being hit basically nonstop. And the reason that Russia has increased their hit, what would be the percentage of missiles or strikes actually hitting, is because they've changed their strategy. And we're going to talk about that more in just a moment. Their strategy has changed. They're using Onyx, which is naval missiles, and it's throwing off the air defense. In most of these missiles, whether it's the Onyx, of course, the Kinjals, the daggers, they have no air defense that can stop them other than the Patriots. And they do not have enough Patriots to go around. So what is being targeted in Odessa? I can tell you, grain supply. So when the grain deal died, when Russia withdrew, Russia immediately started attacking the port of Odessa and the grain supply warehouses. And this morning, this is a bad one. That's actually the report coming out in Ukrainian. The largest power plant, non-nuclear. Let me be very clear about that. The largest non-nuclear power plant in Ukraine has been destroyed. That is what was hit as well in Ukraine. I heard reports that 60,000 tons of grain destroyed over the past few days. That's correct. And not only 60,000 tons of grain, but there's other products there as well. The beans, the sunflower. It's ridiculous. Onyx, here we go. Thank you. I know he's going to come in with the information. Mach 2.6, Kinjal Mach 10.12. Yeah. So that's the reason they're getting through. Here we go. I got the military folks in here. In the past week, Ricochet, Russia's fired 17 Onyx from Crimea with the aim of striking Odessa and Black Sea ports. Yeah. So here's the deal. And this could get very ugly. I want to go here with you guys. So let me pop that down so we can clear up the screen. This is actually, I'm going to zoom out to zoom back in. Here's Odessa right here, guys. And we'll zoom in. And I want to get to the port. So when Zhenya and I are in Odessa, shoot, I didn't mean to hit that. We actually run this road here, the Sodorovsky district, and we come around through this region here. And this is actually the very center of Odessa. We spend a lot of time here, but just take a peek at the port system. So you see this natural bay here that kind of looks like a kidney bean or a kidney, that shape, half a kidney. So there's a breakwater here that they created, and then you can see the port system. Right here, you can see the cranes that unload, load, and you can see how their breakwater system is here. These are massive ports, and you can see the ships all in. And yes, Ukraine right now is being pounded by Russia in this zone right here. So not only is the grain deal not happening right now, Russia withdrew, but additionally, Russia is striking those ports, that infrastructure, and that huge power plant. So what that's marker there from Ukraine actually says is we're in trouble. And it's only July the 21st, but we are going to have rolling blackouts because now we've reached that capacity that we can't share electricity among our systems to keep Ukraine up. So when I was there in the winter, all the way into March, it was nonstop rolling blackouts. We could be blacked out for 4 hours. We could be blacked out for 8 or 12. And of course, it's summer. It's peak of summer. It's hot. And people that are trying to go through life normally are running air condition. And it's very, very difficult. So Ukraine coming out today saying, okay, we're out of juice. We're going to supply all we can, but it's critical again, and expect rolling blackouts. And they are 8 to 12 hours is what they are projecting. Let's go here. This is Chernihiv. Chernihiv today struck. So this building was struck here. 2 ladies were killed that were in the building. It was a school complex, an educational complex, and the 2 ladies were in there working. They were killed. Additionally, in Chernihiv, the cultural house. And for those of you that may not understand this culture, that in some ways very similar between Russia and Ukraine, cultural houses are the central like theater. We would think of it as a theater. So in the cultural houses, they may have museums, governmental meetings, churches may meet in there. They'll have plays, music concerts, you name it. There's a wide array, school trips, these cultural houses. Each city has a cultural house, and there is the cultural house in Chernihiv. So I remind you guys, I'll go back up here. For those of you that may not know, Chernihiv, those of you that hear all the time, you know it. It's right on the northern border. So here's Kyiv. You go straight up the river, And over here to the left would be Chernobyl. And then over here is the city of Chernihiv. Chernihiv, a large city. And you can see how close it is there to the Belarusian border. Let's see here. Let's check up on the chat. CZ, more patriots in Odessa, should have been there a long time ago. Let's see here. We got some, yeah, more patriots should have been there a long time ago. It's too late now. They'll help. But those patriots, they can't stop these munitions. They can't stop these rockets. They do get lucky, but they're not equipped for these boys. Yeah, it's Ricochet there saying that. They're the best that Ukraine has. Yes. CZ, action needed. If you're in USA, keep calling your senators and House reps and tell them to support Ukraine. Skegheg. So Culture House is like a community hall. That is correct, but it's a community hall on steroids. They'll have the official meetings there and dramas, you name it, cultural in the Cultural House. Somebody down here wrote about Michael McFaul. Yeah, chill dude. So Michael McFaul called NATO weak today for not responding. So if you guys do not know who Michael McFaul is, he's a fluent Russian speaker who used to be the ambassador to Russia for the United States. He gets it on many of his political agendas. I do not agree. But on Ukraine, agree 100% with Michael McFaul. The guy knows Soviet culture. Of course, he lived in Moscow. He speaks Russian perfectly or very well. And he's a good guy to listen to. Let's see here. Where to say, Don Giannolini, where in the world is condemning this attack on Ukraine and the grain to feed the nations? What will it take to get action? A bully only responds to greater strength. What is the UN for? Yeah, exactly. So what's interesting about that right there, Don, is that today Vladimir Putin was being the bully. So he came out with speeches and statements and strategy moments, and he made very direct statements about Belarus, about the EU, about Poland. I've got a little clip I translated for you, and I'll show that in just a moment. But you guys know, it's like, I don't know, folks don't get it for some reason, and it's very, very sad. And while folks aren't getting it now, people will struggle for food. It's a fact. And additionally, Ukrainians will die every day, period. Every day. Let's go here. Take that off. Let's go. Mykolaiv hit. Let me show you Mykolaiv. Here's Mykolaiv. One of the things about Mykolaiv and Odessa, which I've spent a lot of time in all of those cities, very old cities. Odessa, of course, a trading port there on the Black Sea. Very beautiful, kind of, it's very European, very Athenian. It was actually founded anciently by Greeks, traders, but it's beautiful. But you would think if you were in Odessa that you were on the Mediterranean or Italy. It has that look. And Mykolaiv, also a very old city. So a lot of these homes and buildings in these cities are old, 100 years old, 150 years old that people live in. So here's Mykolaiv that was hit. This was released by their police. Just to show that it's just homes. And yes, this is exactly what it looks like. Pretty paints. Let's think about the resources involved in dealing with the aftermath. Let me flip over here. This one's Odessa. This is Odessa. This is actually footage from administrative building. That's why it's got that look with the dark brown on the bottom, the lighter tan on the top. It looks very nice. This is right in the city of center, the center of the city. Government building that was hit. So that's Odessa. You know, it's hard to understand this sometimes, but in my hometown here in Western Pennsylvania, we had a home catch fire a few months ago. It was right on the main street, burnt down. Family, some members of the family lost their lives, and people would drive by it until they, cleaned up the site now. But you would look at that house and you would see the destruction and you would go, man, it's just devastating. And it's one house that burned down. These buildings that are destroyed, I just want to make sure folks understand, they're massive. These are massive missiles coming in that are leveling, destroying, and killing people every day. And unless you've seen them, and I've tried my best to share the video to take you right to the buildings. If you go back and look through the history of all of our YouTubes, just go and look at the titles. I take you right inside the destroyed buildings, right inside the destroyed schools. These are massive homes and complexes that are being hit and taken out every day. Yes, chill, dude. That's exactly right. Ukraine needs the means to take out the Navy vessels where these missiles are coming from. Agree 100%. But it's tough. It's very tough for them. But there is a big target stretching across the Kerch Strait from Kerch over to the Russian mainland. That is definitely a target. And yeah, by the way, all these videos are why, if you currently live in Ukraine, wearing a flak vest at least, and yep, means everywhere, increase your odds of living. True. Unfortunately, if you want reality. So if this was happening in the United States or other nations, I'm sure your local town or military would be passing out flak jackets, and they don't have them. I'm telling you, they don't have them. They have enough for the military. Citizens do not have them. Many volunteers do not have them. These are the people killed. Of course, we have them. We have a great community like you that supports us, and the gear that we roll in, the gear that protects Zhenya, is when he's there and I'm not there, is very good stuff. We have multiple flak jackets for ourselves, because sometimes when the military's with us, they actually put them on our seats. We have it on our chest. We have our helmet, and then they put it over the window. We're fully encased the best we can. In many of the towns we go in, we ride with military and armored vehicles, but common citizens, no way. Not going to happen. So it's very dangerous. And that is why you have people like Zhenya, who you guys now know through this, who has little babies, says they have to be gone. It's too dangerous. I live on the 16th floor and anything could happen, and I'm not going to have my kids killed. So that's reality. So that's Mykolaiv. So Malyar, who is the Undersecretary of the Defense, the Assistant Defense Minister for Ukraine, came out last night and said, listen, the Russian Federation is adjusting their strategy, because I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but up until about 10 days ago, Ukraine was usually taking out 80 to 90% of the nighttime air raids, whether it be Shaheeds and caliber missiles. They were able to take them down or deflect them. And as you guys know, even deflectionary missiles are very dangerous, but they were not hitting their targets. We're now pushed down to about the number today was 63%. So 50 to 60% now. So that number has came down significantly, and Ukrainians were wondering, why are we not taking out all the missiles like we were before? It's even more dangerous now. And she addressed it, and she says they've changed their strategy. They're using this combination. Even, I think, Ricochet, you said they have used 17 Onyx, but they were very strategically used, and they're unstoppable. So this new strategy of the Shaheeds, and see, when the Shaheeds are flying, not all are carrying payloads. That's the other thing. Many times they're flying these reconnaissance drones, and it's more than Shaheeds. They have their own as well. And then the Shaheeds, and they're mixing and matching. So they're bringing back the intel for the invader, and then some of the Shaheeds have payloads, some do not. Even some of the missiles they fired, the S-300s, some have not had payloads. Why? They're just trying to deplete the air defenses of Ukraine, and this strategy's it's working. Additionally, we've talked about the grain deal. You know, I think when all this is over, we'll take a field trip to Ukraine, and I'm going to get a bus, and all you guys meet me in Kyiv, and I'm going to take you on a tour of the front lines. And additionally, I'd love to drive you through the fields so that you can see how rich the soil is in Ukraine. It's unbelievable. It's beautifully, it's like potting soil that you would buy in a bag and just pour out. It's incredible. But Ukraine coming out today and saying our beautiful soil is now extremely contaminated. And now not only in the occupied zones, but now the zones that are not occupied where we are, it's unfarmable. The toxicity of the soil, and it's just getting worse. So our beautiful breadbasket, even though we have the soil, it's becoming unfarmable. While all of this stuff is happening in Odessa, all of the air raids, and I'll check that again for us right now. We're still just Mykolaiv. You know, this is interesting here. You guys see this? Maybe, I'm sure some of you know. Let me see if I can zoom this in. No, it won't let me do that. Well, look right here. This is Nikopol. Do you see that orange, like shaded area? You say, well, what is that? So right on that, they have like an icon that shows a piece of artillery. So right now, Nikopol is being shelled, which is shelled basically 24/7, and Mykolaiv is under air raid. So the orange is they're being shelled, and Nikopol is right here. You'll understand why. That's Nikopol, right across the Dnipro River. Here's Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, and we can roll down on that joker. Don't you just love the maps? Of course, all this water is now gone after the blowing, but Nikopol's right here. Russia has all of this occupied. In this city, about 120,000 people, shelled 24/7. And right now it's being shelled. So that's what that is all about. Now, speaking about Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. Today, Ukraine putting out there again, please do not forget about Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. While all of the rockets are flying in Odessa and Mykolaiv and Chernihiv and Sumy, and our children are being killed in the east, the attention is being drawn away from Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. While the grain deal has everybody's attention, Zaporozhye nuclear power plant is going downhill again. Our people who are still there, held hostage, forced to work, are getting messages out to us that it is an unbelievable situation. Our families are threatened. We're being held hostage. They are continuing to load this place with equipment and mines and soldiers. It's a supply house, and it's a sitting time bomb. So that, once again, being reiterated today by Ukraine. Now, what website is that? Oh, I'm in for the trip. CZ, I'd love when I'm field trip. Okay. Hey, listen, guys, don't mess with me now. I'll put the invitation out there. I'll take you guys. What website is that? I'm assuming you're talking. You talking about that one, Skeghead? That's Google Maps. This is alerts.in.ua, and you can put it in English. But if you will go to Google and type in air raid Ukraine, this is the one I recommend. It's the best one. There's lots of knockoffs out there, but this is the best one. Rocket fuel. I'm not even going to try, Jeffrey. I'm pretty good at names, but not that. Do terrible damage to water and soils, very hard to clean up. Example locally is Windsor, California. Yes, we also have the same here, a former steel plant here in our town, 38 acres, unusable. So just think about the amount. Now, Kerch, let's go here. And I'll show you guys. Of course, here's Crimea, Kherson. Over here's Odessa, and the Kirch Bridge right here. Zelenskyy came out tonight on his evening address, and he said, target number one for us is the Kirch Bridge. So right here, you can see this is the bridge that connects Crimea across. This is Kerch, Crimea, Ukraine, comes across, and then into mainland Russia. Can I measure that? Oh, I can't do that. Oh, maybe I can. No, I can't. I can do it here. Maybe you're wondering how. Let's go to this. I know I can do it here. I'll flip it into English for you guys. And oh, by the way, if you're wondering what all these triangles are here, or square on its side, they're air bases or supply centers for Russia. So Kirch Bridge here, how far is it? I can measure it with this one. Boom, boom. 15 kilometers. 15 kilometers. Yes. They need to take out the rail side instead of one lane of the car side. That is correct. I hope it becomes a boat ramp. Thank you for the live stream. No bots or AI. No, sir. No, we only give you what we can. No bots, no AI. So back to Zelenskyy. Zelenskyy came out tonight in his presidential address that at least 5 out of 7 nights a week, it's not produced with television cameras and professionally. He will sit at his desk. He's in front of a wall. I'm assuming maybe at his home where he stays. I know he's under a lot of protection. And he just talks into his phone, and that's his evening address, and it goes out every evening. Tonight, he had 2 points. Number one, well, actually, he had 3, but 2 main points. He was paying tribute to all the children that have been killed over the last few days under all these missile attacks and artillery strikes. Secondly, he put it out there tonight. I'm sure you'll see this tomorrow. If you don't, it's sad. But tonight, in his address in Ukrainian, President Zelenskyy said, our target number one is the Kirch Bridge. We're going to destroy it completely. Rail side, car side, we're going to turn it into a boat ramp, as somebody said. He said, that's our target number one, and I'm putting it out there. We do not really have the complete ability, even though we did sink the Moscow ship. We are better with our naval drones, but our Navy can't battle the Russian Navy, of course. But we can take out that bridge and stop that supply line there. So President Zelenskyy tonight in his address just a few hours ago, point blank said, Kirch Bridge, we're coming for you and we're going to level you to the ground. Effective immediately. And the reason I say immediately, because it was supposed to be the 21st at midnight Moscow time. So that is already passed. Right now, it is 5 a.m. in Moscow, 5:30, 4:30 in Ukraine. I think they've pushed their time now. Moscow. I want to make sure I give you local time. No, they're still 7. They change at some point in the year and they'll be 8. They're still 7. So 4:36 a.m. in Moscow, 4:36 a.m. in Ukraine. At midnight, so 4.5 hours ago, Putin said this himself today directly. Any ship that is trying to move through that zone in the Black Sea can potentially be a target, because we do not trust that it's not military aid. It's not hidden aid coming to Ukraine. So we will, at our discretion, fire upon any ship in the Black Sea. Ukraine likewise responded with the same. Any ship that is traveling with Russian flagship or Russian military, or we see entering certain zones pushing toward Russian ports, is also a target for us. So a lot of saber rattling, but both sides can take out each other's ships. Both sides have the ability to do some damage, and this could potentially, if something of this level happens, definitely escalate the war. Richard Moore, for those of you that are in here, keep in mind, Russia more than likely has a facility dedicated to repairing the bridge. All the manpower needed, people in threat of death to make it happen. Probably. Yes, but I can tell you right now, and I watched this on Russian state TV, the one lane and the one little section that Ukraine damaged, the first it's going to be open for cars for the two-wave movement is September the 15th. Right now, they're pushing them through one way, and then they're waiting in queue and then coming from the other way. But 2 lanes on one side, September 15th, bridge fully functioning November 15th, train not touched. So that's with just that bit of damage. If Ukraine was to take a section out of that bridge and rail, it would be a long time before they could get that back open, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 57 days, first attack, but there's a difference. Zelenskyy tonight didn't call, let me go here. Zelenskyy tonight didn't call for a strike on the bridge. Zelenskyy, in his address tonight, called putting it at the bottom of the Sea of Azov. Not a damage. He wants it leveled, a section of that bridge. So I'm sure that would change things, both sides, but it's out there. I see Yerington, Nevada in the house. Welcome, Dad number 2 out there. Let's see here. Let me do this. And let me do this. Richard Moore. And I know we have lots of viewers that either watch live or they watch it tomorrow on demand and they'll message me. And I'm very appreciative for our friends there. Your guy, Richard Moore, MI6 director, Britain, came out today, and I'm sure you're seeing it on your news over there. He said, point blank, the world is not wanting to recognize this, maybe because of fear, maybe because of economics. Of course, Russia's resources and China's technology and cheap labor and manpower. He says, but please be aware, China is working with Russia in this war, period. That coming out. We know it. We've shown you months ago parts with Chinese inscriptions made this year, equipment, non-lethal equipment, 100% there. Our friends have even found it. It's 100% there. But Richard Moore today, director MI6, drawing attention to it and saying, guys, you're missing it. China definitely working with Russia. Energy Center, California. I think, brother, they could use your help over there. We got some energy problems. Let's go here. So, Belarus and Wagner joint ops Brest border. This is happening, folks. I'm going to go to a map. I'm going to show you guys something. Here. There is the nation of Ukraine. You guys know the outline. North of that is Belarus. Then you get up into the Baltic states, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia. Please, a couple of things I want to draw your attention to. Do not forget this section here of Kaliningrad. This is Russian sovereign territory. It's Russia. Belarus is Russia. I'm going to prove that to you in just a moment. Of course, Ukraine. And then you have the wall here. The wall is not Germany. The wall is not the Czech Republic or Slovakia. The wall is Poland. And Belarus, with Wagner troops, has moved into Brest right here on the Polish border, and they're doing joint maneuvers. I was talking with Zhenya about that just a few moments ago, and he says, Greg, we're hearing all about it, and unfortunately, of course, Belarus is not going to attack Poland. Wagner is not going to attack Poland, of course. But we cannot ignore it. So while they are smashing us on the front lines with air attacks nonstop, while they're expanding their attacks on the northern border of Ukraine, now Wagner over here in Brest, it's a fact. All they're trying to do is stage provocations, but our guys have to pay attention to it. We cannot just hope it's a joke, hope it's a distraction. We have to pay attention to it. So Ukraine, of course, gets stretched thin. So Putin actually talking about that today. I have that video for you now. I'll show it to you. I voiced it over. He's actually talking. Let me do this. He's actually talking about this situation here. Listen very closely to him. Betrayal, selling, paying something back to their owners. That, I repeat, in the end is their business. That's the business of the West. We're not going to interfere in that. But let me speak about Belarus. It's a part of the Union state. And if aggression is unleashed against Belarus, it will mean that aggression is against the Russian Federation. Of course, we will respond to this with all the means at our disposal. The Polish authorities right now hatching their own plans. They do not tell the truth to their people. The truth is, for the West, the Ukrainian cannon fodder is just not enough. And that's why they plan now to use the Polish people, Lithuanians, and further down the list. That's the plan of the West. I think he actually believes it. This is the plan of the West. So we've got Wagner over there. It reminds me, was it a month ago now, 3 weeks ago? And all the Prigozhin stuff was going on. And Zhenya and I did a stream and said, ignore it. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's a circus. And people were ripping us. You guys don't know what you're talking about. You don't know anything about Wagner. Really? Looks like Wagner's now in Brest, training Belarus. Just playing little games. And I know you see the headlines. Probably if you check Al Jazeera or other foreign sites in Europe, you'll see where Prigozhin said We're only going to work in Africa now. So you believe that also. We're only going to work in Africa. Right. No. This is all connected 100%. If it wasn't, Prigozhin would be eliminated. Period. He'd be gone. The general that had the real problem was Surovkin. He's gone. He's lost everything. They're even wondering where he's at times. The others are still in place. Prigozhin's still in place. But they were revolting. Yeah. All planned. I believe that 100%. I know how they function. And that's the games they play. So Belarus and Wagner joint ops. That's what's going on there. Now, a lot of you guys have been talking about Girkin in the chat. Jake Sullivan said today, sent a message to the Russian ambassador of the U.S. that if anything happens in Poland, Russia will pay dearly. So, chill, dude. Let me explain how that works. Folks, that's exactly what Putin wants to happen. He's a chess player. He wants to push little pawns around, and he's a tyrant, a dictator. He wants the Russian ambassador being called for a meeting. He wants all of this attention. He wants all of that attention on that Polish border. He wants NATO saying, if you touch Poland, we're coming. He's not touching Poland. Not now. All he wants to do is destroy Ukraine. And while the West is looking at all of that, every day he's destroying more and more Ukrainians. That's what's really happening. So I don't understand why, our guys just aren't that smart. The only one that's that smart is Michael McFaul. And I don't agree with his politics, but I agree with him in this situation. He's spot on. He says, why are y'all even paying attention to this? We should have already smoked them. NATO should have said, forget Poland because of what you're doing in Odessa. We're coming after you. I mean, the guy knows what he's talking about. Completely. And our guys, now you're getting close to the Polish border. You better be careful. We'll get you. That's exactly what he wants the world looking at. If the world is looking at the Polish border, they're not looking at Odessa. If the world is looking at the Polish border, they're not looking in Donetsk, Kharkiv, Zaporozhye. Have you heard anything about Zaporozhye nuclear power plant on the news the last week? Zero. But is stuff happening? Yes. Who's reporting it? Ukraine. But nobody else is. Nobody's paying attention. Why? Because Wagner's on the Polish border and missiles are flying on Odessa. It's a chess game. And unfortunately, folks can't get it. Now, here's more of the chess game, though. Igor Girkin. This guy is a thorn in the side of Vladimir Putin. Unless you can understand Russian, you'll get nothing from watching him. So basically, who is Igor Girkin? Igor Girkin was assigned as a leader in 2014 when the Lugansk People's Republic and the Donetsk People's Republic were established and stolen from Ukraine. The beginning of that, before the invasion. That's what his position was. He is a Russian. He is military. He is governmental. And he has been a thorn in the side of Putin's flesh because for about the last 18 months, he has done nothing but spewed venom against Russia's strategy, against Prigozhin and Wagner, anything. Now, he hates Ukraine. Don't misunderstand. But he has been nothing but venom towards the Kremlin, nothing but venom towards Vladimir Putin. Today, he was taken from his home and arrested in Moscow. He did do a nightly stream. I watch them all the time where he's just spewing against Russia, but still against Ukraine. He's fierce critic of the way Russia's handling the war, strong critic of Putin and the army. And his detention could be a cautionary tale for others, according to many analysts. Now, here is Girkin, not on his YouTube stream tonight or his vkontak.ru. That would be his site he uses, not YouTube. This is him in detention today in Moscow. So they're just doing the pre-trial stuff. It goes on, and what they're doing now, he's sitting in the box, taking his pictures, and they're establishing if he would have bail or where he would be held. I can tell you right now, it's either September the 18th or September the 21st. It's one of those two dates, but he's now in jail. He's not going to be in home detention. Yes, Girkin was the commander. That's correct. MH17 shot down by the Russians. Over the past 2 days, U.S. officials indicated Washington's working to drastically accelerate the delivery of F-16s to Ukraine. I still say 2024 at the earliest. Would love it tomorrow, but I still say 2024. I don't know, guys. I think honestly, as we go further into presidential election, and I'm talking American politics for one minute, as we go further into this, you guys see what's happening in our political landscape, whether it be with the sitting president now, those that want to challenge him. It's a lot of chaos in America. It's going to be tough it's going to become tougher, I believe, to push things through. So we can hope for the best, but I think, confident, I'm going to stick with Dmitry Kuleba, March 2024 earliest. We'll see. Hopefully tomorrow, but we'll see. So Girkin now arrested, and he's not allowed bail. He's not allowed to stay at home with an ankle bracelet. He's in jail, and he will stay in jail as of tonight until it's either September 18 or September 21. That's when his first hearing will be. The bottom line is this guy kept running his mouth. He's now in jail. You know what happens to people in jail, in the gulag over there? They eat a wrong piece of fruit and have a reaction to it, or they fall off the second floor overlook. Do not be surprised. Now, his partner, his name is Gubarev. Now, you will probably not know that name, but he is the assistant to Girkin. And you guys here tonight that are watching, some of you are aware of this. You may not know, but this guy's famous over there. Very, very, very famous. Very famous. Ukrainians use a lot of his former streams to make the jokes, make the memes, or even receive some encouragement the way he speaks so harshly against the Kremlin and Putin, Prigozhin, all those cats. But now he's in jail. So don't be surprised what happens. His associate, his name is Gubarev. So once Girkin was arrested today and taken to the court, his associate immediately went out on the steps and did a one-man, and they did it on purpose. It was a one-man protest. He's standing there by himself with a sign telling the world, why is Girkin arrested? Pay attention. Our nation is crumbling. Da, 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 da. Here it is. Gubarev speaking, little press conference. Look what happens. It's Gubarev with the beard. Police officer saying, you got to stop and you got to come with me. Everybody stand back. Don't interfere. So what are these guys shouting? Shame on you, shame on you, shame on you. So that's what's happening there. Now, this guy later, a few hours later, was released. He's now back at home, but it's just a precursor. That's what's happening. Girkin in jail, and Gabarov arrested but released. So that's where we're at tonight, folks. This has been fun. As I'm surprised. Let me pull this down a second here. I'm surprised he hasn't been treated to some of Uncle Vlad's tea. Yeah, agreed. Let's do this right here. I'll go back as we close out tonight. Give you a refresh on this. Boy, he looks happy. Yeah, he wasn't looking happy. All right, let's see here. So I see a lot of you guys talking about F-16s. So let's take a look. You got any Polish aggression on Belarus is attack on Russia, Putin says. I showed you that tonight and translated it for you. Zelenskyy fires Ukrainian ambassador to the UK after he was sarcastic. U.S. leads Vietnam. Where are you guys seeing that at? So you know I'm really live. Yeah, and I'm a living. Putin tells Poland. You guys though see what I'm talking about? The only story here is Putin talking to Poland. That's what the world pays attention to. Russia comes under pressure on grain shipments. Yeah, not. Biden wanders away from questions on China. Okay, I believe you guys 100%. So we'll be seeing. I know where to check. Also, let me check here. No, it's not even on any Ukrainian sites yet. So you guys are breaking it, I guess. We'll do good. How's Pastor Zhenya? Pastor Zhenya is out of gas completely. I just talked to him a little bit ago, middle of the night over there, and the camp's going great. And we thank you guys. So that's where we're at tonight, folks. You're completely caught up, and we'll keep our eyes on the updates on if the news changes on the F-16s, even with the updated guys. So just remember, okay, they got to be trained, but some may have already started. They've got to get there. But there are certain planes Russia has the F-16 can't touch. You can look it up yourself. I mean, it would be great to have them. The problem with the F-16 in Russia is this, and this is kind of a cop out, but this is on the Russian side, and this is what Putin says to Ukraine. He says, if F-16s come here, we will change our strategy in this war because now you're running airplanes that can be equipped with nuclear weapons. That's his statement. Now, I know some of you guys in there know more than I know on this stuff, but I have read where some of these MiG-29s that Ukraine has, I think it was Poland talking about how they could retrofit them. I'm not sure about all of that stuff, but Russia's main problem with the F-16s, it's not the airplane guys. And if they roll in a dozen F-16s, it's going to be phenomenal and fantastic. But will it change the war? I don't know. I think this is going to grind out for the long term unless other nations physically get involved. Because we can continue to ship weapons and ship airplanes and ship munitions. But folks, Ukraine has a limit on the number of people. period. There is a limit. They're already talking about mobilization going on more and more. There's a limit to the amount of people they have. Their economy is destroyed. And I know that it's exciting. It's been exciting. Do you guys remember when the HIMARS went? I can go back and pull the streams. The world screaming, yes. They're there. I have physically, personally been right beside the HIMARS when they're firing. And they go off and our whole body rattles. They're so powerful. They're in the most incredible thing I've personally ever witnessed in my life. Up close was a HIMARS going off. I mean, and I know you guys that have been in the military, you know, but I'm telling you, for me, it was holy moly. And they've done a lot of good. But has it changed the war? No. The Patriot systems, we've got them there. There are a few more trickling in. Has it changed the war? No. In fact, right now, with Russia's change of strategy, their strike percentage is increasing. Will F-16s change the war? It will definitely help. But I remind you guys, please, if you think that Russia, and if anybody's jumping on here now, they're going, man, this guy's Russian. I'm not. I'm just telling you the truth. I don't care how old their junk is and how rusty it is and it's falling apart and they're pulling in this. If you think that Russia's going to run out, then I have oceanfront property to sell you in Denver. It's not going to happen. Even told you tonight, MI6, they're telling us clearly, the director, what was his name? I can't remember. China's helping, period. People were saying a couple days ago, sent me messages, oh, Iran's mad at Russia. Yeah, that's going to last about 1 hour. These nations depend on each other. Russia has the most massive natural resources in the ground of any nation in the world. China needs that partnership. Iran needs that partnership because they're a rogue nation. They're trying to become nuclear. Iran has a foot in Russia, and they have multiple feet in Syria and Israel. This is where we're really at. And it's great, but all we're going to do is get more people killed. Correct. That would be the best thing, sir. Very smart, Matt. Not only do they need long-range missiles, but they do not need the nations that supply them telling them where they can strike. That's it. I mean, that's it. They need the ability to take out the supply centers in Russian sovereign territory. They need the ability to take out where all the supply is coming from, because Russia can keep sending soldiers 10x to what Ukraine can. 10x. And they have plenty of munitions, but if we can destroy the supply lines, we can destroy the warehouses, the longer range missiles is what would be doing that. And exactly, Ukraine needs soldiers. Oh, wrong one. Ukraine needs soldiers. Yeah, that's exactly right to say. 10-1, they can outman them. So it is a David versus Goliath. Well, folks, this was fun tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. I'll check one more time here on. The grannies just released a new video in Moscow. Okay. I would show it to you, but I don't have it translated. But the grannies, you guys know who they are. And Air Raid, I'll take you there now. We are still Mykolaiv region and shelling artillery in Nikopol. All right, guys, we thank you. Be blessed. Ricochet, you're very welcome. Skeghead, blessings to you. All of you guys that are here, appreciate you very much tonight. Been a great stream, great update. And I don't know, I kind of like the Friday Night Live, so we'll do as much as we can. It's just overwhelming, folks. There's so much information, and we're committed until the end. So we're kind of like bulldogs. Jane and I are. You know, a bulldog has a nose slanted backwards, and I think it was Britain where he was, where they were bred, maybe somewhere over there. I was reading about it, and that's so they can latch on and keep on breathing. So that's what we've done in the war in Ukraine. We have latched on together in this community, and we're not going to let go until it's over, and we can even breathe while we're still hanging on. So appreciate all of you guys. Be blessed, and we'll see you Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern. If not before, see you guys in Patreon, et cetera, et cetera. Be blessed. Appreciate you. Good night.